J.J. McCarthy's up next. Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
Your thoughts
so,
on J.J.? He had the best stats and probably the most stat hype coming out of this game.
Yeah, and I think it was probably justified, right? He had an interception, and it was, a turnover-worthy throw. It was a legitimate bad play. It was one of those ones where it's the correct read, bad execution. Like he's kind of escaping from a collapsing pocket, targets the guy. It's just a little bit underthrown and late, and it's against Jack Jones as well. So it's a ball hog corner given an opportunity.
Who's absolutely balling out
right
since the middle of last year.
Who was given an opportunity, and he took advantage of it and made the play. So maybe one of those ones that that's a learning point of what NFL defenders are capable of and how little your margin for error is for this kind of play. But his running back got absolutely run over on the blitz. He had to move. He was throwing off platform and just made a mistake, right? Just didn't hit the guy. But he was aggressive. He was accurate outside of that. He hit his first big play was a really nice one. The second one was a good hit as well, but it was more of a coverage bust, that one. And in this world of, hey, Sam Darnold is QB1 and we expected that to last for a while, and J.J. McCarthy was kind of the one of these early quarterbacks, obviously outside of Michael Penix, who may take a while to get on the field. I mean, this was at least a signal from McCarthy that I'm going to make this a competition sooner rather than later.
So, yeah, high level, I mean, we're going to talk about Bo Nix in a minute here. I meant to, get this on the record, but because Bo Nix has 60 starts under his belt, twice as many as Anthony Richardson in major college football plus the NFL,
right? You
would think it's okay for, a Bo Nix to hit the ground running and maybe start from a better starting point than J.J. McCarthy or Drake May. And so we just talked about Drake May, and it's he was a redshirt sophomore, and he's just 21 years old, and the whole thing. With J.J. McCarthy, though, you could say the same thing. J.J. has way more experience, or he has a lot of experience, but he's still fairly young. So I think the fact that he looked so comfortable in week one, he started slow. I mean, I thought that the interception was one of those, oh boy, this could be problematic. He doesn't. This won't work at the NFL level. This is late, and he's just not. He's got to understand NFL Open better. He's got to understand being late is going to cause these interceptions. So it didn't start great for J.J. McCarthy. He had two rollouts, two boot plays where the pressure got to him quick. He rushed it and overthrew. So he had two overthrows and an interception out of his first 4 significant passes. His first pass, by the way, was outstanding. Yeah. Stepped up in the pocket, zipped it in for a completion.
Exactly what you want. It's the backside dig.
It was. I know. But I'm just saying, 3 out of his 4 first significant passes were problematic.
Right.
And one was excellent. My favorite part about this is that, last year we saw C.J. Stroud basically throw a pick and then he was out of there. And it's all right, get him next week, C.J.
Right.
We got to see J.J. McCarthy bounce back from a slow start. And everything after that was very, very good.
It's also worth bringing up the point that I think McCarthy is the first of the quarterbacks we're talking about who was playing with the second string, right? Yeah. So every other quarterback, the first team offense was kept out there so that the quarterback gets, number one, the fair opportunity. He's got a chance because the second team offensive line generally league-wide gets wrecked. So he's got protection, he's got receivers that are actually good, et cetera, et cetera. McCarthy, I think, is the first guy of the ones we talked about who was out there with a second-string offensive line, with a second-string receivers. Justin Jefferson's in street clothes doing commentary on the sideline. And his running back, Kenny Nwangwu, is basically a kick returner who got run over for that play, on the blitz for the play that turns into an interception. So it's worth noting that McCarthy was not given the platform that these other quarterbacks had in terms of who he was out there with.
So overall, I thought what I saw from McCarthy, good maneuverability in the pocket.
Yep.
Maneuvered the pocket. He made some excellent throws under pressure with guys in his face, knowing he was going to get hit. Throws a deep crosser, absolutely pinpoint. Some of our questions about his ability to, from an arm talent perspective, put touch on the ball and throw multiple non-zip type of passes. I think we saw that with an absolute dime on that first touchdown. Beautiful throw. Threw it early, put it right on his receiver for the go ball touchdown. The deep crosser that I mentioned. I mean, that was, overall, it was really good. He was another balanced and accurate. I liked the way he did that at Michigan. I thought he was always balanced in the pocket and his ability to get from read to read. efficiently and then zip it in there.
I mean, he ended up with a PFF passing grade of 84 despite the interception. Like, that's not that easy to do.
So you're right. So this is the one where I was going to say, this is my nitpick on that and how this would affect the grading. The one play where I think he saw it a little bit slow, just like I think Caleb Williams had a couple plays where he was a little slow. There was one play, there was an extra hitch in there from JJ, one extra hitch, and he gets hit while throwing, and it was like this close to a strip sack. And I think if it's a strip sack, I'd want to put it on him because I'm like, you're just
Right.
you're holding the ball a little bit too long, right? So there's that fine line where I think that, again, every quarterback's going to have these plays. These are nitpicky plays where you just got to see it a little bit quicker. But overall, he delivered on time, and he also had the one scramble, muddy pocket, got out of there and picked up a first down. I liked the way he handled a lot of muddy pocket type of plays.
Yeah, there's a couple of these where it's like, can you really change anything from those sort of early preseason performances? One thing I think you can potentially change is the plan for your opportunity. So we're going to get to this with Bo Nix as well. But McCarthy right now was clear QB2. Darnold, number one, with the starters. They get a few snaps, and then we're on to the second string full, including J.J. McCarthy. Whereas Drake May or whoever, those guys were running with the ones as well, and Bo Nix. I think at the minimum, McCarthy just said, give me a run with the ones next week, right? Let's at least, even if I'm not starting, quote unquote, even if I'm not elevated to QB1, give me a chance with the first string, right? Give me an offensive line that's going to hold up every play, or at least, most of the plays, and give me wide receivers, including Justin Jefferson, rather than the guys in the second string. That, I think, is what McCarthy did, is put his hand up and said, okay, I can do this with the twos. Now let me see what I can do with the ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early. I don't think they all need to have the same exact opportunity. I mean, look, overall, feeling pretty good about what you saw from J.J. McCarthy. And I thought he did. I was a little worried, and it's still very early. I was a little worried about when he maneuvered the pocket. And I know he's athletic and had a lot of athletic plays at Michigan, but there were some plays where your little Christian Ponder syndrome came up where I thought that could be an NFL issue where he's going to try to do a little bit more than I think he's capable of. And I think early on we didn't see that from J.J. McCarthy. So I was encouraged by that.